Okay, we're live, right? All right. Anybody, if you have any kind of difficulty, hearing me, just let me know and I'll try to make some adjustments. I've had some issues in the last couple days with my connection. So I just wanted to go over this. My connection called me last night and I wanted to make some discoveries on the Richard Dolan video. It was a great video, very informative, gave, just really great. Sounds great. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. So, it's a really great video. It gives a lot of background information, as well as the link to the actual document. And because of his experience and all of that, it really shines out with kind of how it's all put together for you. So, but whenever you get around I believe we start around minute 19, contractor that might have alien hardware. And then as the story builds up and as Richard Dolan builds up the story, you can see the tension building up between the deputy director of the DIA, which is the Assistant Joint Chiefs of Staff, J2, as well as the other. I mean, these are just really high-ranking people, and they're sort of into this kind of locked situation with this private contractor, and this private contracting firm, and they have to make an appointment, and they have to do all these kinds of things that I'm sure that they probably weren't accustomed to, and it shows, and the way in which Richard Dolan, the way he narrates it, it really comes out the frustration they must have felt because they were invoking their authority and all these other things. And it seems as if this black budget sort of operation that's kind of, I guess, outside the purview and authority of someone that high, of the deputy director of the DIA, they simply just were not interested. And that organization that they were talking about was Robert Bigelow's organization at the time. So that's the information that is that I wanted to get out right here. It is Robert Bigelow's organization, and that isn't mentioned in the document. And I went over Richard Dolan's video a couple times, and I guess it wasn't mentioned there either. So my contact got a hold of me, and I thought I'd bring that out too. So one of the more interesting things, if you go and you listen to it over and over again, there's different points, like minute 1930, they bring up the fact that it's a private contractor that has hardware. We start talking about the departmental breakdowns around like minute 26:56. Around minute 27:14, we talk about the core secret breakdowns of how it is, and I'm just trying to give you kind of footnotes of where to look for. They say that it's a special project group at minute 24:37. Around minute 28:27, they talk about the crashed UFO program, and it's just a treasure of information. But all in all, ultimately, what we're talking about is Robert Bigelow and Robert Bigelow's organization. Of course, all of this is tied to TTSA, to the Stars Academy. So, and yet this was, way before, we have the ongoing confirmation process for UAPs that we have right now. So I just wanted to bring that out and bring that to light. And it's very important to have that on the record for everybody. So, I don't really have anything else to give other than to let you know, in case you're here now and you didn't catch the video yesterday, about what's coming up and is on the horizon. We had the confirmation of the moon discovery, the large metallic object. I love the way one article put it, that its size is so big, it's from Waco, Texas to Washington, D.C., and then you think of the moon. And I love the pictures of the moon that they give you, and it's almost like this, it's like a topography moon graph, and then overlaid with that is like this heat graph, and right at the core, and it's not really a core, it's almost the entirety of the moon. It's just this pale blue, and you can tell that that's where the metallic structure is at. That's alien in nature. And indeed, this satellite is alien in nature. And it goes much farther than that, but that's what we have. Um, that's what we have right now. So I just wanted to get that information out. That so yeah, it is Robert Bigelow. That and I left the Dolan link in here, and I encourage everybody to check it out, and I encourage everybody to. I mean, I listen to Richard Dolan and I check his stuff out. So I would encourage everyone else to, but particularly this video, if anything, this video. I know the New York Post is getting into that basement office, and I think they're on episode 3 that I'm seeing right now. I haven't listened to that yet. That should be really, really interesting. I've been getting into that as well too. Um, and someone else on my Twitter feed, and hopefully I retweeted it. There's a really great breakdown of January and all the Schumann resonance spikes that we had. So it's quite interesting. So I'm seeing more and more people are signing on by the second. So the big breaking news that we have here for everybody that's signing on is yeah, Bigelow with Skinwalker Ranch. Exactly, Ken. Exactly. Hey, Evil Monkey, how's it going? Hey, Katerina, how are you? Hey, Lenny, what's going on? Big news is from the Admiral Wilson Notes and the breakdown of those notes by Richard Dolan in the link below. The organization that they're talking about, that I wouldn't say they were being combative. They were quite frank about their authority and their refusal to give up the information that they had. But it's Robert Bigelow's organization. You could tell that the deputy director of the DIA was not used to being told no, nor were any of the other high-ranking officials around. So it was incredibly enlightening and interesting. And I enjoyed the narration of the entire scenario because my take on Richard Dolan, and he's a very he's an intelligent guy, obviously, but very reserved. But I could tell even he was kind of cracking a smirk with, because you can tell when someone has been in command for so long, when someone, is met with a no, oftentimes they've have forgotten what no feels like. Those of us who face no every day, it's someone says no, you said okay, and you move on, you figure out a way. But someone who doesn't face no very often, particularly within like the purview of their perceived authority, it's something else. So that's really something else. So I'm seeing even more sign on by the moment. And for those that have been on this whole time, I do apologize. So it is Robert Bigelow's organization from the Admiral Wilson Notes, according to my contact. For the Richard Dolan video down below. Also, yeah, if you missed it, in 2 weeks or less, we're gonna what's going to come out next is the dome, the crystal dome, somewhere in the ocean. That will be out. That's going to break news, and I think a good template to expect. And I don't know. I'm speculating here, but the template that I'm expecting for it to come out will probably be much like this moon template, where they have to tell you about it, but they kind of cloak it in this sort of scientific speaks, this scientific double speak, where they just kind of shoo it off. But like I was explaining about narration in another video, you have to have a broad narration, and then right in the middle of that is the crown jewel, and they hope that you miss the crown jewel. And part of what I'm doing here is pointing out the crown jewel. And my contact has been pretty much so far 100% absolutely on target and correct. So I have absolute faith that this crystal donor will be found in some ocean. And my understanding is it's as big as New York City. So needless to say, this thing's massive. It's gigantic. So it's going to be probably cloaked in some kind of dismissive scientific language, but indeed that isn't the case. So a lot going on, a lot happening. I was also told that things are going to start speeding up. So that's it, folks. If you want to ask any questions real quick, just drop it. Hudson Bay. I don't know. Is that are you talking Hudson Bay, the really big bay in Canada? I don't know. I don't know where any. Yeah, yeah, Katerina. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I I I don't know. I would imagine it would have to be a big body of water if this thing's that massive, but, you know, because New York City's pretty big, so, let's see. Prelim is saying, "I noticed many have been experiencing unusual back pain lately, including me." Yeah, I wake up with a lot of back pain, from the shifts, but also too, I'm getting tired all the time. You know, someone brought that up yesterday. I'm getting really tired, depending on and the spikes, the Schumann spikes are lining up with the shifts that a lot of people are perceiving. So I think all of this somehow lines up together. So, and that's not anything new or anything breaking there. So, London, Ontario. Okay, cool. Uh, Maloney X519 Maloney XX. Yes. So, well, that Hudson Bay is the most famous, but I'm thinking the Hudson. There's so many things named Hudson. Hudson's a very popular name. So sorry about that. Anyway. All right, everybody. So that's the big breaking news. This was a short one. Indeed, I'm sort of living up to what I said. I wanted to do much shorter and more frequent videos, oftentimes while I'm eating lunch. So I'm doing that here. So that's it. It's the in the Richard Dolan video, the Admiral Wilson Notes, the organization that had the alien craft, the alien hardware. It was Robert Bigelow's organization. So I encourage everyone to go and listen to the Dolan video. And if you've listened to it once, listen to it again because it really gets into how these private contractors are able to stay out of the purview of at least as far up as the deputy director of the DIA, the assistant joint chiefs of staff, J2, which is, I would imagine, probably nosebleed level in terms of the military world. So, that's all I have for now. Let's see what we have here. What do you guys have? What are you guys talking about? Yeah, prelim, the Dolan video. I have the link in the description. And I would advise you to, you know, sub. He gets a lot of really, really good information, and I've already followed him for a while now. So, but this last thing, according to my contact, was incredibly significant. It's all true, and it's Robert Bigelow's organization. Yeah, Robert Bigelow. They have that Skinwalker Ranch thing coming out. So you like that nosebleed level, huh? Anyway, so Atlantis, that sleeping prophet says Atlantis will be found, according to Jeannie Rose. I don't know. You know, I know there's resets, and I think Atlantis was in a reset. I know, you know, the Watchers and all that. So, I don't know. Maybe I will see the link, the Dolan video. It's in my description. You just have to check it out. All right, everybody, I'm bouncing off here. I gotta finish this sandwich. Thank you. Bye.